On December 7, 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy launched a surprise attack on the United States Naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack was aimed at crippling the United States Pacific Fleet, which Japan saw as a threat to their territorial ambitions in Southeast Asia. The attack resulted in the deaths of 2,403 Americans and the destruction of numerous aircraft and ships, including 8 battleships. The attack on Pearl Harbor marked the entry of the United States into World War II. The events leading up to the attack on Pearl Harbor began in the early 1930s, when Japan began a program of territorial expansion in East Asia. Japan's militaristic government believed that they needed to acquire territories rich in natural resources in order to ensure their economic and military dominance in the region. In 1937, Japan invaded China, setting off a war that would last until the end of World War II. The United States was not initially involved in the conflict between Japan and China, but it was providing aid to China in the form of military equipment and supplies. The United States was also opposed to Japan's territorial expansion in the region and had placed an embargo on the export of key natural resources, including oil, to Japan. This embargo threatened Japan's ability to continue its war effort in China and put a strain on its economy. In response, Japan began to consider the option of attacking the United States in order to force it to lift the embargo and allow Japan to continue its territorial expansion in Southeast Asia. Japan believed that a surprise attack on the United States Pacific Fleet would cripple the United States' ability to respond and give Japan time to secure its territorial gains. Planning for the attack on Pearl Harbor began in early 1941. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, Commander-in-Chief of the Combined Fleet, was tasked with developing a plan for the attack. Yamamoto believed that the success of the attack depended on the element of surprise and the ability to inflict maximum damage on the United States Pacific Fleet. The plan called for a fleet of 6 aircraft carriers to launch 2 waves of attacks on the naval base at Pearl Harbor. The attack began at 7:55 a.m. on Sunday, December 7, 1941. The first wave of Japanese aircraft, consisting of 183 planes, targeted the airfields at Ford Island and Wheeler Field, where American aircraft were parked in neat rows. The second wave, consisting of 167 planes, targeted the battleships moored at Battleship Row, including the USS Arizona, USS Oklahoma, and USS West Virginia. The attack caught the United States by surprise. Most of the American aircraft at Pearl Harbor were parked in the open and were destroyed in the first wave of attacks. The battleships at Battleship Row were also caught off guard and suffered heavy damage. The USS Arizona was hit by a bomb that ignited the ship's ammunition stores, causing a massive explosion that killed 1,177 sailors and Marines. The attack lasted for less than 2 hours, but it was devastating. 8 battleships were either sunk or severely damaged, and numerous other ships and aircraft were destroyed. The attack also resulted in the deaths of 2,403 Americans and the wounding of 1,178 others. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a major blow to the United States Pacific Fleet, but it also had the effect of galvanizing American public opinion in favor of entering World War II. In the aftermath of the attack, the United States declared war on Japan, and within days, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, bringing the United States fully into the global conflict.